Hi, everybody. I know. I'm not Sarah. My name is Jessica. I'm the Health Fitness Program Manager at Miter McLean, and I'm going to be guiding you all through a yin yoga practice today. Just trying to remember how to change my name. I don't know. All right, but we're going to get started. So let's go ahead and just get started, everybody. Getting started in Okay, we're going to get started in Sukhasana in an easy, comfortable seated position. I highly recommend for this class that you take a moment to gather any props that you might have. I happen to have a meditation cushion, but maybe you have some yoga blocks around. If you don't have any yoga blocks around, I would recommend grabbing a pillow that you might be able to use for a little bit of support. If you don't have any yoga blocks and reaching the floor is a challenge, go ahead and grab yourself a nice sturdy book that you can always reach down and apply some pressure with your hands to relax your back, because yin is all about relaxing as much as possible. Synchronizing my clocks, and we're just going to go ahead and get started. Uncle Buck is here to join us. All right, so coming down into Sukhasana, if you find that sitting on the floor in general, that when you're sitting on the floor, your knees come all the way up towards your chest, find that block or cushion or rolled up towel, whatever it is that you can sit on to lift yourself up a little bit so that your knees can gently slope a little bit more towards the floor. We're going to use as many props as we can for today's practice, because the whole point is to be as relaxed as possible and also working our way into finding stillness. Pardon me. If at any point while you're holding an asana, a posture, you go from a noticeable, maybe uncomfortable stretch into a stretch that is painful, I want you to slowly back out and come to another point of stillness where you're just hanging out, where it's noticeable but never painful. It's going to be normal to feel a little bit of trembling or twitching and whatnot as you create some new connections through your muscles, ligaments, joints, tissues, and even finding a little stretch through those bones. So if you have a prop, bring it nearby. I tried to write a class today that does not use too many props. We're going to focus on creating some space in the legs and the feet. So starting off in this easy, comfortable seated position, if for you sitting cross-legged is not easy, comfortable, then go ahead, kick your legs up, start in Dragonfly. Slow down your breath. We're going to take a big focus on breath today. Maybe your chin even tucks gently towards your chest. Create that stillness, not just through your body, but through your mind. So think about the fact that if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving, and find one spot to either focus your eyes or simply close them and do the best that you can to move along and create the shapes that I describe with my voice. Okay, we've got 3 more minutes right here in Sukhasana in our easy seated position. We're going to go for some longer holds today. This first 5-minute hold to start class is just because, we're starting class. Some people are filing in gently, and maybe it's taking you an extra second as we begin after a long work day, case in the Mondays, to find this stillness. Perhaps there's a lot of thoughts or concerns that are coming through your mind. Totally normal. As you do notice anything besides right here, right now, as the focus in your head, use your exhale, let it go. And if you still find that you're distracted in your thought, take the time to count your inhale and work to make that exhale a little bit longer than your inhale. It's going to help to slow your heart rate down even. All right, we'll take these last couple minutes of Sukhasana in silence. Remember though, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So be cool, close your eyes, it's okay. Last minute right here. I bet you created some amazing stillness right there, noticing your belly rising, diaphragm filling on your inhale, gently collapsing with intention on the exhale. We'll give ourselves a little bit of some neck stretches here, because I know that's what we normally do in class here. So grounding through the sit bones, take a little draw in of the core and stretch your eyes, nose, chin up towards the ceiling. And on your exhale, bring your chin down to your chest. Just continue to move slowly and with intention at your pace with your breath. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, doesn't matter what anyone else in the room is doing. And if there is anyone else in the room with you looking at you, just close your eyes and then it's like they're not even there. Just tuning into yourself and your breath. And props to you for starting the week off with some yoga. Such a great way to end a Monday. One more inhale, stretch up towards the ceiling. One more exhale with chin coming to the chest. And then go ahead, bring your head to neutral. We'll take some gentle side to side. So whichever side you like to start with, drop one ear to your shoulder. You can either inhale back up through center or tuck your chin to your chest. You're finding a movement that works well for you. Maybe you do a little variation of it all. If you want to hold for an extra second and just breathe through any particular tension that you feel on one side. We got just about 30 more seconds for these neck rolls. Then we're going to bring a little bit of love and stretching into that lower back. So you're welcome to stay up here lifted on a prop if you came to one. Next time your chin comes to your chest, use your inhale to lift your head up. I'm going to remove myself from the prop because that's what feels best for my body today. Whether you're sitting on the floor or on a block or a pillow, find some grounding through your glutes and go ahead, bring your fingertips in front of you. If your back is smarting at all, you can stay lifted, keep that core engaged so your back feels good. If it feels nice, you can always walk yourself forward. And if you've got it around, you can even use some props. So maybe you place your forehead on a block here if it doesn't quite touch the floor. We're just going to spend 1 minute. We're already in it in the forward fold. We're going to find some reaches to the side. Most importantly, I want you to make sure that your sit bone is still grounded so you didn't roll forward onto your glutes here, or onto your shins or knees, I should say. And whenever you come to your next inhale, go ahead and walk yourself over to one side as much as feels good for your body today. Keep your opposite glute down. You can extend the stretch a little bit more by whichever hand you have forward, drawing that shoulder forward so that your chest squares a little bit more towards the floor. Big stretch throughout the whole side of the body, hanging out here for 1 minute. Come back to your breath, find that stillness as quickly as you can, coming into stillness and intention with the breath. A nice noticeable stretch, pardon me, but not painful. And on your next inhale, we're going to gently walk ourselves back through center and then over to the other side. Final minute of our forward fold. Remember, eyes focused on one spot or closed. Getting that nice stretch right now through the hips, through the side body into the shoulders. Relaxing that lower body as much as possible. Now's a good time to tell you we're not going to have any specific water breaks during classes today, but I encourage you, if you need water, grab it. Try to do so on the transition between postures. Let's go ahead and walk our hands forward and then walk them back to center. Lift yourself up, kick those legs out in front of you. Take a moment, bob your knees, windshield wipe your feet. Maybe you bring your hands behind you, take a nice stretch through the chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Find that stretch that you need before we come into our next stretch together. All right, next up, we're going to go for butterfly with a nice little massage of the arches of our feet. So drawing the soles of the feet in towards each other. Again, it's normal if your knees are lifted. You can always sit yourself up on a block, even for this butterfly, to find a little more opening of your hips. You can stay lifted. You can find a little bit of a forward fold and pressure of your elbows into either your inner thighs or your calves. But go ahead, bring your hands to the arches of the feet and give yourself a massage. I know. I said yin was all about stillness, and here we are finding some movement, massaging our feet. But how frequently do you massage your feet? I know I don't get to it very frequently, but it feels good. If you're wearing socks, I'm going to encourage you to take them off here as well, because the next posture that we have coming up, we're going to work to lace our fingers between each of our toes. But if you're wearing toe socks, you can keep them on. All right, find a little bit more rubbing of those fingers down the soles, the arches, maybe even into the toes. Keeping that slow, steady breath. That felt great. I hope you thought so too. On your inhale, lift yourself up, extend both legs in front of you. Once again, maybe you walk your sit bones back a little bit, such that you're not leaning back here, finding that lift and then a little bit of a walk back and give you that nice long spine, which I know feels a lot better while we're sitting here. But as I said before, you're always welcome to lift yourself up on that prop as well, especially if you're super tight behind those hamstrings. So next up, we're going to go for a single leg stretch with zipper toes. If you can, you're going to fold one foot in. I'm starting with my right foot, whatever it looks like. And I'm working to bring my right foot all the way up to my hip crease. If your right foot's not coming to your hip crease today, that's okay. Just go ahead, bring it to the floor inside by your left foot. If you can get that right foot crossed, even if it's not at the hip crease, maybe a little bit more figure four, wherever it is, we're going to work to get those fingers between each of your toes, like you're holding hand with your feet. It's so sweet. All right. And you can have your extended leg toe pointed or flexed, finding whatever stretch you want to in the opposite leg. We're going to come into some stillness right here. Find some relaxation in your shoulders. If you want, you can even bring a prop onto your belly to help you lean forward. We're going to spend 2 minutes right here, zippering up with the first toe and then with the second. So you should feel a bit of a stretch throughout your extended leg, depending on how tight you are. You might even be feeling a stretch in your bent legs, hip flexor, and just creating a little stimulation sensation in those feet. Start to scan your body from head to toe and ask yourself, what else can you relax? Where do you personally start to hold your tension? For me, I sit my shoulders, I draw them up to my ears like earrings, and I also squeeze my glutes really tight when I'm thinking about things. So I have to constantly work to relax those shoulders down, release the tension in my glutes. Maybe you tend to purse your jaw or clench your face. I was going to say eyebrows, but you know what I mean. So scan yourself from head to toe. Ask yourself where you can create a little bit more relaxation, a little bit more openness right here. If you took any sort of a forward hinge on your next inhale, you're going to lift yourself up, move any props you're using out of the way, release your hand hold from your foot. Go ahead, extend whichever leg you started with out. Feel free to bob those knees, windshield wipe the feet, release some tension, and let's come right into the other side. Remember, both sides of the body are not the same, and every day is different. So you're going to do the best that you can with the body you have today. Your best is always enough. I know I'm a little bit tighter on this side. I'm just having some grace, maybe using some props. I'm going to bring a prop underneath of my bent leg because that's going to help me to just relax in the posture. Awesome. So again, we're spending just about 2 minutes here. We're already in it to win it. As you start to quiet your body, mind, and breath, start to listen to the furthest away sounds in the room or maybe outside. Notice if you can hear your heartbeat. Great job. Use your inhale to find that lift and a little bit of length, and then release the awesome grip you have of your hands on your feet. We got one more posture sitting here on our bums. Let's go ahead, spread those legs as wide as feels comfortable for you today. We're finding ourselves in Dragonfly. So depending on how tight your body's feeling, you might want to have your hands behind your back by your glutes to keep that nice lift. Once again, you can let your toes fall away or flex towards your face. If you're feeling really flexible, you can always bring your hands in front of you and feel free to bring some props to the party because you can even just kind of lean forward and relax. It's okay to take some rounding in that back, especially if it's feeling good, but find that one spot, relax your eyes, relax your mind, relax your breath. We're going to spend 3 minutes here in this Dragonfly. You might already feel a big stretch on those inner thighs, particularly, and hamstrings and hip flexors. So relax your upper body and just breathe. Reminder as we start to work towards some of our longer holds and more challenging postures for us less flexible desk folk. It's very normal to feel some trembling, some twitching. Maybe your toes start to just do their own thing. Maybe your whole leg starts to shake. That's totally fine. That's actually awesome. Congrats. But we want to move away from those times when we feel tense and we intentionally come out of the posture. Yin yoga is a great opportunity to help find calmness within the stress of things. This class is great the next time you're in a meeting and someone says something and you want to react. A class like Yin is a great way to work on not reacting to the stressors in life. And that's a great way that you can take the yoga off the mat. Coming into our final minute right here. I know it might be hard, but you've got this. You're doing your best. Just tune into your breath. If you took a forward lean, use some intention as you lift yourself up. Let's move these props out of the way. We're gonna fold those legs in and make our way into a kneeling position. If kneeling on the floor is really hard for you, you can always bring a block to the party right between your glutes so that you're sitting on something so that you don't have as much pressure on in the knees. Sometimes even taking just like a sock or using a yoga strap and putting it right behind your knee can help you to relieve some pressure. All right, but from here, we're going to go into some big toe stretches. So go ahead, tuck those toes under. If it's hard for you to tuck those toes under, you can always tuck your toe and then slide your foot back gently. And from here, we're going to start to walk the hands back. And the more that you walk the hands back, the closer that you get towards your knees, the more challenging this posture is going to be. And you can lift yourself all the way up. We're going to spend 2 minutes here from 10 seconds ago. So once again, I just want you to come into something that you can do your best to stay in. And if that means that your hands are on the floor, that's okay. And if that means that you can sit yourself all the way up, that's also okay. But once you have found wherever you're going to be, you are going to stay there. You don't need to go any deeper. You just need to breathe through it. Do that total body scan, head to toe, check those spots where you bring your attention and just breathe. On your exhale, carefully come out, bring your hands back to the floor, untuck your toes, and then just tap those feet on the floor. You can even make a little typewriter action. Oh, that feels so much better already. All right, we're gonna next get a little bit of movement in an ankle stretch. So sit back down into kneeling position. I'm gonna turn slightly forward. No, it's hard to see with my black pants. If you want to, you can bring your hands on the floor behind you. That's going to increase the stretch even more. Or you can just stay lifted. We're just going to work to bring one knee off the floor and then the other knee off of the floor. So just pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat, lifting up that knee, that chin gently off of the floor. Maybe you can see better if you're looking when I turn to the side. Nope, still dark. Good times. I promise you, I'm lifting one knee off of the floor and then the other. Come on back to your breath. Keep it nice and slow. If you are a runner or if you've had a lot of ankle injuries and scarring, you might barely be lifting that knee off of the floor. I promise you, if you do a posture like this and make it part of your regular schedule, you will create more mobility within your ankles. Just a couple more breaths right here. I like to be literal, so that will be 2 more breaths. Last breath. All right, walk those hands forward. Oh, we get to take child's pose. So walk your hands all the way forward. Going in for a slightly extended child's pose. We've got 3 minutes right here. I like to place a block under my head for a longer child's pose because otherwise all the blood drains right up to my head and it feels like I have a cold. But maybe you like that feeling, so I don't want to stop you. If it's too much for you to have your arms extended all the way forward, feel free to take a generous bend of your elbows, start to feel a little separation of your shoulder blades, or even reach your hands all the way behind you, coming into tadpole on the floor. Wherever you're going to be, find it right now. Relax into your breath right here. Now that you have your belly pressed on your thighs, shift the focus of your breath slightly towards your back ribs. So on your inhale, can you notice your back ribs expanding? On your exhale, feel the sensation as they contract. Take some time here to find a little extra pause, both at the top and the bottom of your breath. So enjoying the sensation of lungs full, and then working to push all of the stale air out and feeling lungs empty. We've got 1 more minute right here. While you're super relaxed, I want you to see how many breaths you can take. Your minute starts right now. That was 1 minute. All right, let's gently lift ourselves back up. Actually, let's stay in child's pose. I lied. From here, I want you to do your best to tuck your toes under without moving your hands. Then go ahead, press yourself up, take a moment in down dog. If you need to shorten your step, I know I like a shorter step, you can go ahead and walk your heels in, but we just measured for a moment from child's pose with those hands extended what the proper distance of down dog is supposed to be. I don't know about you, but I don't like it. I'm not there yet, so I'm just continuing to work on these stretches. We're running out of time, y'all. I know. Okay, so next up, you're gonna walk those feet up towards your hands. And we're gonna stay here in a dangle. So if you need to reach for a prop, if the floor feels really far away, you can go ahead and grab that prop. I'm just gonna close out this window. We're dangling, we're dangling. But one thing to avoid during this dangle is I don't want you to have your legs straight and your belly super far from your legs and a big rounding through your back. If that's you, go ahead, bring the weight into your heels, take a generous bend of your knees and bring your belly to your thighs like it is a table. That's a great place to start for everyone, whether your hands are on the floor or your hands are on a block. And then from there, you can always work to press through your heels and straighten those legs. It's okay if your hands don't come anywhere near the floor. If you don't have a prop, go ahead, grab hold of your opposite elbow, or maybe you wrap your hands around your calves and grab hold of your other hand for support, or hands on the back of your calves, just giving you as many options as possible to dangle it out here, because we're going to stay here for 3 minutes. Think about what's happening with your head right now. If your eyes are looking down towards the floor, you're bringing an extra bend into your neck. So take a little tuck of your chin towards your chest. And then maybe close your eyes, because remember, if they're moving, your mind is moving. And it's okay if your shoulders are just relaxing towards your ears here, because we're focusing on the stretch big time that's happening on the back of our legs, in our hamstrings. And if your hamstrings are really tight, then maybe you have that generous bend of your knees and your belly more towards your thighs. But remember, we're working to find a posture that we can stay in. So it's better to have those knees bent and to just breathe through wherever you're at right now, than to go from straight legs to bent knees to straight legs to bent knees, because then you miss out on the true opportunity for deep opening. The good news, bad news is that the older we get, the longer we need a stretch. So when we are or were in our young prime, holding a stretch for 30 seconds is great. But as we approach and move past 60, holding a stretch for a minute is where it's going to really start to make a difference. So that's why a class like Yin, where we're holding stretches anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes, can help you to create those new connections, new stimulations, or reawaken things from earlier. I know that this posture is a little bit more challenging than child's pose. So you might need to take another breath during your minute, but our last minute here starts right now. Can you come back to those same slow breaths you enjoyed before? All right, we're finishing this minute right here. You got 10 more seconds. We're going to start transitioning into our next posture, which is a squat. So go ahead, heel, toe, those feet further apart, wider than shoulder width distance apart, and finish with your heels in and your toes pointing out to about a 45-degree angle. I encourage you to use a prop. I'm going to bring my block to the back of my mat so that as I start to sit down into a squat, my glutes can find it, and I can lift myself up to be in a nice supported squat. So literally just sitting on the block. I'm sitting on the high part of the block. You can turn and sit on the low part of the block as well. And I'm turned to the side for modesty reasons. We're going to spend a total of 3 minutes in this squat. If you don't have a prop and you're like muscling through it, come on down towards the floor and you can come into half stump. So just drawing that heel close towards the center line of the body, either using your hands on your shin or using your elbow crook to help lift you up. You can work to get both glutes down on the floor and then still enjoy the same hip opener in half stump instead of squat. I like me a good squat on the block, so I'm gonna transition back to squatting on the block. If your heels don't touch the floor, that's okay. You're just working towards it. And if you're in a real spot and you need to have your hands on the floor, that's fine too. We're bringing as much relaxation to that upper body as we can now. And let's be real, there's not that many yoga classes that you take where they want you to use as many props as possible. So enjoy it while you're here. And if you're in that single leg stump, switch those legs out right now. Back to your slow breath, everyone. You've got a little more than a minute left here. Close your eyes if they're open, especially if they've been open the whole class. Just balance and breathe right here. You might have wondered why I'm dressed so warmly for this class. I forgot to mention in the beginning that I do like to wear some extra layers for yin. Being warm helps to create a little bit more flexibility and mobility within the body. That's why so many people go to hot yoga classes. So as we start to move into the winter and you have the heat on, you might notice as you attend this class or the Wednesday night's Pilates class that you're a bit more flexible. Great work here, everyone. Go ahead, bring those hands down towards the floor. Come on off of your block. Take some time, move with intention. Come onto all fours and tabletop. Give yourself some cat cows right here. Hands, palms right underneath of your chest and shoulders. Spread your fingers as wide as you can, like starfish, so that you even feel a nice stretch between your two fingers. And unfortunately, we are getting close to the end of the first class. I'd love if you come back to join me as we finish an extra 20 minutes, continuing to focus on those legs. We're going to move a little more towards that low back in the second half. Go ahead, look over each shoulder here. Look for your cat or your cow's tail in both directions. I want to thank you once again for joining me today for this yin yoga experience. It is a yoga practice. It is not perfect. And every day we just do the best that we can with the bodies we have today. Once again, my name is Jessica. I'm the Health Fitness Program Manager in McLean. Ellen will be here on Wednesday night to do Pilates with y'all. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming. If this is all I'll see from you, I want to encourage you to think good thoughts, speak good words, eat good foods, do good deeds, take the time to nourish yourself from the inside to the outs. The light within me honors, sees, and is so thankful for you. So bow your heads for just a moment as we say namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, y'all. And if you'd like to, come on back in just a moment on this same awesome link.